Good morning. This is Don V with Truth Be Told, and we have a couple news reports I'd like to share with you. Before we move to those, please remember to subscribe. Over 80% of the people who watch my videos are not subscribers. It's completely free, and it really helps my channel grow. I don't make a cent off from this. I'm just trying to get the information out there. Okay, without ado, let's go ahead and move to the first report. It says up to 100 Afghan evacuees are on a U.S. terror watch list. At least one has ties to ISIS. The Democrats are on a mission to destroy America, and the Biden administration promised the Afghans evacuated from Kabul this week will be fully vetted, yet already we're seeing this is not true. At least 100 evacuees out of thousands who fled the country are currently on the U.S. terror watch list. At least one evacuee has ties to ISIS. This is what Flashbang is bringing into your community. And that's not including the unvetted illegal aliens who are crossing the open U.S. southern border in record numbers. The Daily Mail reported. As many as 100 Afghan evacuees flown out of war-torn Kabul are on an intelligence agency's watch list. The United States government official warned on Tuesday, as it was revealed one passenger flown out of Qatar has potential ties to ISIS. The Afghans, potential candidates for special immigration visas, were flagged as possible matches to the intelligence agency's watch list by the Defense Department's automated biometric identification system, as officials with the U.S. government told Defense One. The Afghan who was potential ties to ISIS was detected by security screeners at El Udeid Air Base in Qatar. After they were evacuated from Kabul airport, another official told the outlet, there have been 6,000 Afghans taken to the air base. Intelligence, law enforcement, and counterterrorism professionals are conducting screening and security vetting for all SIV applicants and other vulnerable Afghans before they are allowed into the U.S., a State Department spokesperson told thedailymail.com. We are surging resources to evaluate each case and process these as efficiently as possible to protect Homeland Security. Yeah, sure they are. State Department declined to confirm to DailyMail.com whether any immigrants have been flagged for having ties to ISIS, and it's unclear if they were processed before or after leaving Kabul. Great. Only gets better, doesn't it? On the red state, 52% of southern Nevada COVID-19 deaths were fully vacationed. That's what this data says. Despite the media's 24 hours a day, 7 day a week marathon attempting to convince Americans of the safety and effectiveness of 19 vacations, constant reports of breakthrough cases have gone a long way to determining that effort. U.S. health officials have been adamant that the effectiveness of the vacations remain high, even though the CDC does not collect data for breakthrough cases, eliminating the possibility for national health officials from even weighing in on the matter. In the UK, at least 40% of new 19 hospitalizations have been of vacation people, and many jurisdictions make no distinction anymore between vacation and unvacation people when it comes to 19 mandates. In a few states, they do gather breakthrough case data, but oftentimes it is lacking in data or format to which it can be compared. For instance, some states count breakthrough cases, but not hospitalizations or deaths, which makes it hard to determine the number of vacation patients that are being treated for or potentially dying from 19. This morning, in reviewing data out of southern Nevada, I came across data that I could actually compare that told a story that doesn't line up with 98% of deaths and hospitalizations are unvacationed narrative. The Southern Nevada Health District was created in '62 following statutory authorization from the Nevada State Legislature to combine the county health department and health departments of several surrounding cities, according to the SNHD website. From the website, at the time of its creation, the health district had approximately 30 employees, including 4 sanitarians, who inspected 800 eating and drinking establishments. The health district currently employs approximately 500 staff members working in its 4 divisions. Today, the Southern Nevada Health District is one of the largest local public health organizations in the United States. The health district serves more than 2.2 million residents. which represents 72% of Nevada's total population. Additionally, the health district is charged with safeguarding the public health of more than 42 million visitors to Las Vegas each year. The first week of August 2021, the department revised that methodology of the data collected to include not just factors of breakthrough cases, but hospitalizations and deaths as well. Included in the data collected by the SNHD is the total percentage of vaccinated vacation people in the county, which right now sits at 46.05. It accounts for the whole of the population, including those under age 12, who cannot currently get the vacation. However, in the interest of making sure the data remains comparable, we need to include everyone. And then there's a list here. Talks about the percentages. On August 11th, the first reporter, after the revised methodology, SNHD reported a total of 37 breakthrough deaths. Just 1 week later, on August 19th, the SNHD reported a total of 87 deaths, meaning that in a week, 50 of the 19 related deaths of the SNHD were fully vacation people. The majority of the people who have breakthrough cases reported since August 4th do not have pre-existing conditions. 1,462 had them, while 4,847 did not. Of those that were vacation, 63% had received the Pfizer vacation, 21% Moderna, and 16% had received another vacation. According to the data, only 5% of the total breakthrough cases needed hospitalization, and the Delta variant was identified as the cause of most of the cases initially. 73% of all breakthrough cases were people over age 65, but that number plummeted to 23%, with 44% of the new breakthrough cases between August 11th and August 19th involving 25 to 44-year-olds. Interesting, isn't it? All right. Moving on to the next one on Breitbart. It says, Texas jailer dies from 19 after processing migrant 200 miles from the border. Residents of Refugio County, Texas, honored the life of Sheriff's Officer Jailer on Tuesday, who died in the line of duty after contracting the 19 while processing a migrant apprehended in a human smuggling incident. Sheriff's Officer's deputy is also recovering from 19 after apprehending the migrant 200 miles from the Texaco-Mexico border. In what is becoming a daily occurrence, Refugio County Sheriff's Office deputies interdicted a human smuggling operation. Sheriff Raul Pinky Gonzalez told Breitbart, Texas, one of the migrants apprehended earlier this month was later determined to be infected with the 19. The migrant passed on the virus to a deputy and a jailer. As a result of the exposure, jailer Ricardo Hinojosa contracted 19 and died on August 14th, Sheriff Gonzalez said. On Tuesday, Refugio County laid their public servant to rest. Gonzalez said one of the deputies also contracted 19 from his interaction while transporting the migrant to the U.S. Border Patrol station in Corpus Christi, Texas. We didn't know the migrant was infected, but he was coughing a lot, the sheriff explained. 2 or 3 days later, my officers came down with 19. My jailer, Ricardo, got it real bad. He died in about a week and a half or 2 weeks. My deputy is recovering and just got out of the hospital. So that's why when I hear Flashbang on the news acting like he's all concerned about the jab and about this pandemic, telling people to wear a mask and all that, Gonzalez continued, he was the one that caused a lot of these problems here. We're testing the migrants when we apprehended these big groups being smuggled through our country, he stated, and we're always finding that some of them are infected with 19. The death of security officer Hinojosa impacted more than just the sheriff's office. His stepson, Omar Alvarez, posted a message on Facebook and asked for prayers for his mother and family. Refugio County is located on U.S. Highway 77 between Corpus Christi and Victoria. A well-known human smuggling corridor is approximately 200 miles from the Mexican border. Man. And I got some good news here. Breaking! Supreme Court rules! Flashbang must reinstate Trump's Remain in Mexico program. Rejects emergency application. On Tuesday, the Supreme Court of the United States shot down a last-ditch effort by the Biden administration to stop reinstatement of Trump's extremely successful Remain in Mexico policy, otherwise known as Migrant Protection Protocols program. The court made the decision after Biden's open border regime had filed an emergency application because of a similar ruling that was made earlier in the month by a federal judge in Texas. The petition was quickly rejected by the nation's highest court, allowing Judge Kex Mark's early August decision to go into effect. The administration is now mandated to start following the policy that will send illegal crossers back across the border as they wait their hearings. In the court's decision that saw 3 liberal justices dissenting from the conservative majority, they cited their previous ruling that blocked 45's attempt to end Obama's DACA policy as precedent for turning down Biden this time around. Justice Roberts was the only one to vote against the government's attempt to end the programs in both cases. Justice Breyer, Stoudemire, and Kagan were predictably the 3 members of the court who would have granted the emergency application, proving once again they are just partisan puppets with way too much power. Thanks for now, we have a conservative majority, well, somewhat considering those 2 squishes, Kavanaugh and ACB. Biden and these American-hating goons, he is running the show, won't quit when it comes to importing illegal voters to ensure their positions of power, but thanks to the decision by SCOTUS, he has hit a major delay. Border states like Texas should finally be able to clear out the overcrowded facilities by sending the people back where they came from, instead of releasing untested, unvetted illegals into communities around the country. All in all, a huge win for Americans. Amen. Says, miss you. Charlie Watts passes away at 80 after decades of drumming for the Rolling Stones. NBC News wrote yesterday, Charlie Watts, the inflappable Rolling Stones drummer, who anchored rock Ageless Wonders, died in London hospital Tuesday, just weeks after bowing out of the group's upcoming tour. He was 80. It is with immense sadness that we announce the death of our beloved Charlie Watts, his publicist Bernard Daughtry said in a statement posted on the group's Twitter page. NPR reports Charlie Watts, the unshakable drummer for the Rolling Stones, died this morning, according to a publicist. He died in a hospital in London, surrounded by family. No cause of death was given. He was 80 years old. Where most rock bands take their cues from the drummer, Watts was the type to hang back. He told NPR in 2012 that in the early days, he'd have to sit close to guitarist Keith Richards' amplifier during a live set, and they weren't very big amplifiers. So with an audience shouting, I need that to know where the changes came, Watts said. Watts was born on June 2, 1941. Growing up, he was mostly a fan of jazz. Despite people like Duke Ellington and Charlie Parker, it was listening to Jerry Mulligan's Walking Shoes as a kid that inspired him to play drums. After bouncing around various jazz clubs as the British blues scene was picking up, he met Mick Jagger and then the rest of the Stones. Watts plays his first gig with them in 1963. Watts gave off a different vibe from his bandmates in more ways than one. Aesthetically, he preferred tailored suits, while the others took the stage with their more bohemian looks. He also did his best to stay out of the limelight, using some of the band's early success to buy a 16th century mansion in Sussex. But he was no less of a core member of the group, giving the band a steady backdrop to rock for nearly 60 years. Says, breaking, U.S. military has started withdrawing from Afghanistan, and Biden turns his back on thousands of Americans stranded behind enemy lines. The military has started withdrawing from Afghanistan, and thousands of Americans are now trapped in a potential hostage situation because of flashbang. According to Fox News Pentagon reporter Lucas Tomlinson, the U.S. is reducing troop presence, U.S. officials said. Joe Biden on Tuesday agreed to stick with the August 31st Afghanistan withdrawal deadline after the Taliban threatened consequences. Better listen now. Taliban on Monday announced they will not extend the August 31st deadline for U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan. The terrorists are calling the shots now and barking orders at Joe Biden. Taliban spokesman uh, Mahajid told reporters on Tuesday they are keeping their August 31st deadline. Mahajid also announced the Taliban will no longer allow Afghans to leave the country. Flashbang left the Taliban army with weapons, missiles, aircraft, uniform, cash, and even energy drinks. And now the army he created is barking the orders at the Biden regime. Yeah, and they're also selling everything to China. Isn't it great to be an American under this guy? Oh, mercy, mercy, mercy. Anyway, that's all we have for this short report here. I hope everybody found it informative. Got some real winners out there working for the DS, and but we know some big changes are coming. So just stay on your knees and know that God's in control. Things are happening behind the scenes. If you look all around us, you can see a lot of things happening. A lot of arrests, a lot of people being found guilty. Good things are happening. At any rate, this is Don V, broadcasting under sunny skies. Looks like we're going to be in the mid-80s again today. Take that. Yeah, it's not too bad. Hope everybody has a wonderful summer day. Happy Wednesday, and we are out of here.